Grade 8, as I told you yesterday, that we'll be closing our chapter today of a simple mechanic. So I told you that you must go home and research about the mechanical advantage. So I thought you have done your research properly, but let's look at the words of what is mechanical advantage. Because I like you to know things before I tell you. I know if I say mechanical advantage right now, there's a bell that's ringing inside to you. So let's look at the definition of the mechanical advantage. I will be reading the definition of the mechanical advantage. All I need to do is to hear me clear and properly and take note of what is mechanical advantage. A mechanical advantage, it is measured of the force of amplification achieved by using a tool, a mechanical devices, or a mechanical system. The device perceives the input power and simplified trace of force against the movement of obtain desired amplification in the output, amplification of the output force. The model of this is it is the law of the Levy. This requires to calculate the force load and the effort. So I hope you take note of what is the mechanical advantages, and you're gonna ring the bell when I say mechanical advantages, the point of mechanical advantages. So we are calculating now. We are going to be looking at the calculation of the mechanical advantages. So, but before we are looking at the calculation of the mechanical advantage, let us look at why the importance of mechanical advantage. So the importance is allows human to perform tasks much as easier excuse me for that, guys. We were doing what? We were doing the most important thing of finding the importance of the mechanical advantage. So as I was saying, that the mechanical advantages allows us to perform, allows us as human beings, as you and me, as other people in the world, to perform tasks much easier. Of the force they need to apply must always obey conservation energy. Mechanical advantage is measured of the ratio of output force to input force in a system. May I repeat that? The mechanical advantage is measured of the ratio of output force to input force in a system. It is used to analyze the force in simple machine like Levy and Pulley. Learners will be I'll be learning you. I want to tell you of the mechanical advantage. So we will be looking at the what now. We're going to be looking at the calculations. So before we calculate the mechanical advantage, I want you to be clear in minded that we can't all, because we have made the example of Levy. So of Levy. We have made example of Levy. Not all of the Levies are being calculated in a mechanical advantage. For example, the third Levy can't calculate is in a mechanical advantage. So the broom. We can't say we have calculated the mechanical advantage of a broom because it's representing the force and the vacuum and the load. We can't calculate that, but what can we calculate as the mechanical advantage? We can calculate a track, because the track is considering something moving, and it's have a fulcrum, it's a force, and then it's a force driving the load. If you're not mistaken. Yes, if you're not mistaken. So please listen carefully of the what? Of the teacher, as I am the teacher to you, explaining what? Explaining the calculations of the what? Of a mechanical advantage. So the mechanical advantage, it is what symbolized by the what? By the MA. The M stands for the mechanical and the A stands for what? For the advantage. We have what? We have the output. We have the output plus the force of the what? Of the effort. Divided by the what? Divided by the input of force of the what? Of the load. Please bear in mind, because I will repeat it once and once and once again, that the MA stands for what? The mechanical advantage. I don't want you to see an animal when I say give me the MA. You must know in mind when I say the MA, I'm saying what? The mechanical advantage. And this is the what? This is the abbreviation of the what? Of the mechanical advantage. And it's calculated by that the output of the force, the output of the force is of the effort is divided by the input of the what? Of the load. So as we're going further with our what? With our lesson today, I'm gonna give you what? The example. I'm gonna read my example on the top. I'm gonna write my example on the chart and what? And give you the first example. After that, I'll email the work to you as the learner, and you will be using what? You will be using your devices such as laptop to do the work. So may I read the first of the example that we are having? What will be the mechanical advantage be of a device if the load is equal to 500 Newton and the effort is equal to 1000 N? So you were told that the load is equal to 500 N and the effort is equal to 1000 N. So what would you do as a learner when you are having this kind of a situation as an equation? So you will take the what? The output force of which is the effort and divide it with the what? Of the input force of which is the load. You can't divide the load by the what? By the effort. So please bear in mind, don't mix this thing. It's not a vice versa thing. It's the same way thing. The output of the effort is divided by the input of the effort. So let's check what is the output of the force of which is the effort here in this situation. Anyone? Oh yes. It is what? It is 1000, which is representing what? 1000 is representing the effort. Then you're going to divide it by what? By 500, of which 500 is representing by what? By the load. So please bear in mind, what would be our answer? Anyone? Yes, thank you. It would be 5. So these are the kinds of calculations we are dealing with when we are calculating what? The MA, of which is the what? The mechanical advantage. So as I'm telling you, I'm going to give you what? A quiz that you're going to write. This is a small quiz you're going to write at the what? At the on time and give it to me. But I'm going to send it via what? Via email. So please bear in mind, I want you to use YouTube to check the mechanical advantage, because you have YouTube and you are using it as what? As your resources to help you with your studies. So please bear in mind, I want my work, and then I'm gonna ask my work tomorrow, and I will want it. Please do it fast with the devices of which is your laptops. I thank you.